Sergey Motornyuk, one of Link Digital's senior solutions architects, has been involved in the Comprehensive Knowledge Archive Network, or CKAN, ecosystem for over a decade. Based in Kharkiv, Ukraine, he's also a core member of the CKAN tech team, and he has a very hands-on and in-depth understanding of the CKAN platform and its evolution. This episode of CKAN Insider will give you a clear, honest picture of what's going on with the software, what its current upgrade path is to CKAN 2.12 and what that looks like, and what the next major upgrade is, CKAN 3.0, and what that will mean for organisations that are running data portals today. So, Sergey, welcome to CKAN Insider.
Yeah, it's nice to be here.
Okay. You've been working with CKAN for 11 years. How has the platform changed in ways that matter most to the organisations using it?
When I started working with CKAN 11 years ago, most organizations used and created data portal mainly as like small publishing platforms. They upload the data sets there, and that's it. There was nothing else. And at this point, CKAN portals looked more like, I don't know, at current moment, Google Drive may do the same things as CKAN portals did before. But over the last decade, those portals are evolved, and now they do much more. The biggest change from my point is this change in the way how organizations, governments look on their portals and which function they expect from ecosystem. Basically, instead of just static catalogs, CKAN portals turned into complex system with API integrations, with analytical tools, with geospatial previewing, etc. Another major improvement is stability and scalability. 10 years ago, deployments often required significant amount of development, amount of manual labor and maintenance. Today, CKAN is, I can say, much more advanced and mature in terms of extendability, deployability. It's compatible with cloud ecosystem. It has like a solid security practices. So CKAN grows much more mature, and now almost everything CKAN can be automatized, and it almost requires like no manual labor at all. CKAN can be deployed just in a few clicks, and it's really impressive.
My understanding is that CKAN 2.12, now that's the final release in the 2 series, is nearing completion. So it's in the final stages of preparation. What are the most significant improvements in CKAN 2.12 that portal operators should know about?
CKAN 2.12 serves multiple purposes. It has actually a lot of really wonderful things. But probably one of the most important part of it is the fact that we move away from legacy technologies and huge technical debt, and now anyone who upgrade to CKAN 2.12 will be able to jump into CKAN version 3 with least possible amount of efforts. Portal operators will be, if they decide to use CKAN 2.12 for a long term, they will benefit from maintainability and compatibility with modern tools, which is really important. Previous versions of CKAN often relied on some either old libraries or even unsupported just because we have no capacity to update it. In the version 2.12, absolutely every library is updated to the latest available version, and there are no like security vulnerabilities that are known at the moment of publishing. So basically, CKAN 2.12 is really cutting-edge technology, which is must-have for anyone who is going to use CKAN. There are actually quite a lot of new features, but it depends on how you actually use CKAN. For example, there will be improved search and engine support, which allows to extend searchable things in CKAN. There will be a lot of performance improvements for data store, which really help portals that rely on data discovery. There is changes in file management ecosystem, which also simplifies communicating with cloud storages. But those are, even though they are important, those are features that aimed for specific portals, while this upgrade to latest technologies is something that will be beneficial for everyone. That's why I think it's the greatest thing in CKAN 2.12.
Okay, can you give us any idea when this might go live, or is that too complicated a question?
It's a complicated question, but you see, the release process in CKAN is community driven, so there heavily depends on final testing and coordination across all the contributors. But from what I see, the project is really on final stage of publishing. That's why I don't want to give promises, but from my it feels like few weeks, maybe a month at most.
Okay, well, that's good to hear. I mean, one of the things, and you've spoken about this in the past too, and other people have too, is the out-of-the-box usability of CKAN.
Mm-hmm.
So that will still be the case with the next update?
Yep, for the 2.12 it definitely will be the case, yes.
Okay. And people are already starting to talk too about the first in the 3 series, so CKAN 3.0. What's changing under the hood? Can you give us an idea in terms of what's working under the hood in terms of 3.0? What should organizations be thinking about now to prepare for the transition?
It's an interesting question because you see, we don't have like exact plan what exactly will change in future. Mainly, we want to publish CKAN 3.0 because there are still some either old or deprecated or things that slow down the development, and we want really to rip them out of CKAN core and remove everything that blocks us from even further development. That's why the main focus in CKAN 3.0 will be removing everything that blocks us and maybe changing some API compatibility level. But still, ideally, it will be completely compatible with CKAN 2.12. So basically, there is a change that a migration from 2.12 to 3.0 will not require like great efforts, maybe like a day of development, and that's it. The major focus, most likely, will be modernizing the front-end architecture, some front-end assets serving, making platform the easier to extend and maintain over the next decade. So basically, we want to make future releases after 3.0 even more stable. While now, like migration from 2.11 to 2.12 may require efforts. We want newer CKAN versions, migration from 3.0 to 3.1, be as smooth as possible. As for organization, mainly organizations, portal maintenance of CKAN should start reviewing their custom extensions and integrations. Many portals accumulated like tons of custom code during those years, and it's a good moment to evaluate whether all those customizations are still necessary. They should think about infrastructure automatization, like applying CI/CD pipeline, writing tests, using containers for deployment. And finally, once again, it's related to custom code, they should check whether it follows best practices recommended from CKAN. As long as they update everything to the latest possible version, not just update CKAN, but also review the code and make sure the code is modern according to CKAN recommendations, they should be fine with upcoming version 3.0.
Okay, that's a good segue into my next question. I suppose what are common mistakes that you see organizations make when they're managing or upgrading their CKAN portals?
So probably the most common and biggest mistake is treating CKAN portal as one-time project rather than like long-living ecosystem that will serve users for a decade. CKAN portal always require maintenance. Obviously, when new version is released, ideally portal must be upgraded. But even without it, radical checks of dependencies, code refactoring, etc., metadata quality management, everything must be in place, or else portal will just accumulate a huge amount of unreliable data, and no one will just use it. Another common issue also is excessive customization without like long-term plan. Custom features can solve immediate problems, but over time they really make upgrades significantly more difficult. And that also correlates with my mention of best practices. Basically, whenever custom feature is implemented, it should be aligned with CKAN recommendations, and every new CKAN version should be checked against this feature, because sometimes it becomes possible to write the feature better. Yeah, and so neglecting those items and just making the portal that exists by itself without maintenance is the biggest issue in CKAN work.
Okay. You've said that the community-driven nature of CKAN is one of its greatest strengths. Why do you think this?
Even though CKAN does specific things and does it good, single organization, single maintainer cannot really solve all the problems, all the challenges for data management. CKAN benefits from diversity of governments, universities, non-governmental agencies, and like independent developers around the world. They have their own way to manage data, to publish data. They discover they have different priorities and experience, and that diversity and experience actually makes the platform more robust. The community itself, the way CKAN develops, creates this transparency and resilience. Organizations are not locked like to a single vendor, which is included with CKAN. They can affect the roadmap of CKAN and make it more suitable to their needs. And another important point is probably most important is knowledge sharing. Once again, as the single organization focus on specific approaches and specific ways of solving problems, but the global community accumulated years of operational experience across hundreds or maybe even thousands portals globally. And sharing this experience helped everyone to avoid the same mistakes and move further in building ideal portal.
Okay. You've also been pretty vocal about the real-world impact of CKAN. On the 20th anniversary of the software, where do you believe CKAN needs to go and to stay relevant in a world where AI and data discovery are changing very fast?
Yes, that's a complex one. So I think that CKAN needs that CKAN can exist and needs to continue evolving from a mere data catalog into broader data discovery platform. AI is changing how exactly people interact with information. Users expect or maybe demand availability of semantic search, or of automated metadata generation and suggestions, intelligent recommendations, maybe chat-like interface where they can communicate with the portal itself to discover something, and probably integration with some advanced analytical systems or models. This creates, on the one hand, it creates problems for CKAN, which doesn't have a lot of those things, but also it creates an opportunity. Because CKAN already manages one of the most valuable assets for AI system. It contains structured and, I suppose, trustworthy public data. Because of it, in future, CKAN focus on probably improving metadata quality and interoperability, just to make sure that this data is really trustworthy. It should support, and actually there is undergoing work, it should support AI-assisted discovery and search. It should make the API even more structured and give more support to machine-readable formats. Maybe it has sense to implement more focus on integrations with existing AI ecosystem. And finally, it should be even easier to discover high-quality, publicly available data. At the same time, CKAN should preserve it base, so as long as it remains in place. I believe CKAN, with help of community, can support this evolution chain and move along with AI, becoming not like a rival of those systems, but rather a ground for them to be used even more effectively.
Sergey, thanks very much for joining us, and thanks all of you for watching CKAN Insider. If you'd like to learn more about how Link Digital builds and contributes to CKAN, or how we can support your data portal, reach out to us at linkdigital.com.au.
Thank you.